We are now focused on the cost flow assumption, determining the cost of goods sold and ended inventory, but this time using what's known as the perpetual inventory system. Now, recall from your readings, you're studying that the perpetual inventory system is an inventory system where you compute your cost of goods sold at the time of each sale, not at the end of the accounting period. Therefore, with perpetual inventory system, every time an actual sales transaction takes place, we're going to calculate cost of goods sold at that point in time. So I took one of your homework problems as an example. I believe it's problem 628 or 69A. And this is what they gave you. They gave you the information for the dates, units, unit costs, and sales units. But what they have here, they're combining purchase dates along with sales dates. I think it's better to take this information and separate it. So what I've done, I've separated the purchases and put those over here, and the sales information is shown separately. Let's first look at this section with the purchase information. It is still important to make sure you keep track of the number of units that we purchased, which was 26 units, and the cost of those units, which is known as your cost of goods available for sale. So we have a total of 26 units at a total cost of $3,157. Now, these are our sales dates: July 6th, July 14th, July 27th. This is showing the quantity sold on each of those different sales dates. You must compute cost of goods sold for each of those individual sales dates. Again, you must calculate your cost of goods sold for each of those individual sales dates. You ready to get started? All righty. Let's begin with FIFO. We always begin with FIFO. And once again, FIFO stands for first in, first out. We make the assumption that whatever we purchase first was sold first under the FIFO cost flow assumption. So our first sales date was July 6th. And on that date, we sold 9 units. FIFO says we sold the first 9 units, meaning that we would have sold 9 of these 13 units. So under FIFO, cost of goods sold, you would multiply 9 times 115, which is the unit cost per unit. And our cost of goods sold under FIFO for July 6th would total $1,035. Because again, FIFO says first in, first out. So now I'm going to do something that's going to be a little more challenging perhaps. I may have made a copy of this. So now remember that we just sold 9 of those 13, which means we now only have 4 units remaining. So don't want to change this number or just keep that number in your head. I'm going to go ahead and change it. No, I'll keep it that way. Hopefully it'll be okay. So then on July 14th, we sold 6 units. FIFO is saying, which 6 units did you sell? So let me do this. Let me keep this at 9 times 115. Then I'll do the actual calculations over here. How about that? So again, these 9 units came from those 13 that was purchased on July 1st. On July 14th, we sold 6 units. We're saying which 6 units did we sell? Well, we're going to sell the 4 remaining from July 1st, and those are going to be at 115 each. And then we're going to sell 2 of these 6 from July 1st. That cost 123 apiece. So we got 2 of those units at 123. Not at 13, but at 123. There we go. Let's make that bigger. So to get our cost of goods sold, it's the 4 times 115 plus the 2 times 123. Therefore, our cost of goods sold for the July 14 purchase would total $706. Okay? Now, what you must do is keep track of your inventory. So now all 13 of those have been sold. And we sold 2 of those 6 units. So on July 27th, we sold 6 units. But again, the question remains, which 6 units did we sell? Well, we're going to sell the 4 remaining units from July 11th, and those 4 are at a cost of $123 apiece. And we're going to sell 2 of those 7 units purchased on July 21st, and those 2 are going to be at a unit cost of $132 per unit. So our cost of goods sold, we got the 4 at the 123 plus the 2 at the 132. So our cost of goods sold on July 27th would total $756. So under the FIFO perpetual cost flow assumption, you compute your cost of goods sold on each individual sales date, not at the end of the accounting period. So now we still must compute our ending inventory under FIFO, ending inventory. And the question now becomes, what do we have left? Well, those 13 units have all been sold. These 6 units have all been sold. And of the 7 units here, we've sold 2 of those. We still have 5 units remaining at a cost of $132 per unit. So our ending inventory will be 5 times the 132. Therefore, the value of our ending inventory under the FIFO cost flow assumption would be $660. Okay? Now we can kind of double check our work because although we compute cost of goods sold at different times, when you add your total cost of goods sold plus ending inventory, when you add those together, it still must equal your cost of goods available for sale. So when I add these numbers all together, they still must total the $3,157, which is the amount of our cost of goods available for sale. So again, with the perpetual inventory system, you can compute your cost of goods sold on each individual sales date, not at the end of the accounting period. So this would be our calculations for FIFO. Next, we're going to do our calculations for LIFO. Okay, so I'm going to put the LIFO cost of goods sold on the other side. Now, our sales dates remain the same. On July 6th, we sold 9 units. Which 9 units did we sell under the LIFO cost flow assumption? I'll wait. Okay. Now, some of you said we'll take these 7 at 132 apiece and 2 of these at 123. Right? That what you chose? Be honest. I get it because LIFO says last in, first out. However, with the perpetual inventory system, you must pay attention to the actual dates. We sold these 9 units on what date? On July 6th. Okay? So on July 6th, what do we have in inventory? On that date, all you had was the 13 that was purchased on July 1st. Aha. So under LIFO for the July 6th sales date, the 9 that we sold came from our July 1st purchase date, because on July 6th, that's all that we had available was the 13 units that we purchased on July 1st. Therefore, our cost of goods sold under LIFO for July 6th would total $1,035 because we sold 9 of the 13 that was purchased on July 1st. So again, you must be cautious of the sales date and purchase date under the perpetual LIFO cost flow assumption. Caught you, didn't I? Okay. Then on July 14th, we sold 6 units. We're still doing LIFO. So we're saying which 6 units did we sell on July 14th? Well, under LIFO, it would be last in, first out. The last purchase before the sales date was on July 6th. And guess what? On July 6th, we purchased 6 units. So under the LIFO cost flow assumption, we're going to assume that the 6 units sold on July 14th came from our July 11th purchase date. It was 6 units at $123. Therefore, our cost of goods sold on July 14th would total $738. Now, once again, you must keep track of what do we have left in inventory. On July 27th, we sold 6 units. LIFO says, once again, last in, first out. We'll look at the purchase that took place prior to July 27th, which would be July 21st. On that date, we purchased 7 units. So we're going to assume that on July 27th, we sold 6 of those units that was purchased on July 21st. So it's 6 times the 132. Your cost of goods sold would equal $792. So you must pay attention to the sales date as well as the purchase date, because you cannot sell inventory that was not available at that point in time. Now, we still have 5 units remaining because we've sold a total of 21 units. That does total 21, doesn't it? Yes, it does. And we had 26, meaning we still have 5 units remaining under LIFO. Which 5 units do we still have remaining? Let's take a look. Of the 7 from July 21st, we sold 6 of those. So we still have 1 remaining at 132. The 6 from July 11th, we sold all 6 of those. So all of those are gone. And then the one from July 1st, of those 13, we sold 9 of those units. So we have 4 units remaining at a cost of $115 each. So for our ending inventory under LIFO, we got the 1 at 132 plus 4 at 115. So when you add those together, your ending inventory value under LIFO would equal $592. Now remember, put this over here so I can do this, that when you add your cost of goods sold plus your ending inventory, it still must equal the cost of goods available for sale. Just do a quick plus here, plus that, plus that. Look at that. Our cost of goods available for sale will still equal to $3,157. That's a way to check to make sure that all your numbers are accurate. Okay? I'm going to do another video showing how to use the perpetual moving average cost approach. Stay tuned.